actually.
Divorcee, couple of kids.
She looks a bit like a lesbian.
Construction of our human zoo is almost complete. 2 miles of cable will be carrying pictures and sound from 15 hidden cameras and 15 concealed microphones into a secret control room. There, 2 eminent psychologists will be able to scrutinize anything that moves on banks of monitors. Professor Phil Zimbardo is the world's leading expert in groundbreaking psychology experiments, and his colleague, Dr. Mark McDermott, is one of Britain's top social psychologists.
We are about to see a practical experiment unfold. We're going to observe what happens when we put real people in a field experiment. We're interested in things like cooperation and competition. We're interested in group dynamics, how leaders emerge, how rules can come to control people. We're interested as much in the phenomena of dictatorships as we are in democracy. But really what we learn from this is what people say they would do is often a far cry from what they actually do when put in the crucible of human behavior. And that's really what counts, is understanding what people actually do, not what they imagine they would do.
After 6 months of planning, it's now a few minutes to 12 on Friday, the 19th of November, and we're ready for our first participant to walk down this path. But before we watch 12 strangers meet and size each other up, we want to learn more about first impressions. How are they formed, and how long does it take? It's a big day for these 3 women. They're competing for a secretarial job starting Monday morning, and we've been allowed in to film their interviews. They've got 15 minutes each to prove their worth. Or have they? We're about to find out how long it really takes to make a lasting impression. The candidates will be facing Judy Fisher, a recruitment consultant with 30 years' experience. We've given her this dial, which is connected to our control room hidden away in an adjoining office. There, we're effectively going to read Judy's mind. This machine will make a trace of her thought processes. If Judy's impressed, she'll turn her dial up. That will produce a trace high on the screen. If she's underwhelmed, turn it down and the trace will sink. Everything will be scrutinized by occupational psychologist Terry Kellard.
Bridget, hello, I'm Judy Fisher. Thanks for coming along and being prepared to do this. We're going to talk first of all, Bridget, a little bit about what you've done and about what you're looking for. Then I'm going to tell you a bit more about the job and we can take it from there.
Great.
Okay?
Yeah.
Bridget's been sitting down for just 12 seconds and said all of 5 words. But her trace has immediately gone up from an average reading of 0 to an impressive 56.
Let's just start with, I've got your CV here.
Clearly she's got a positive impression. That's the most important bit of you. That would have been based on what she looks like. She looks like a PA.
Yeah, I like that, and I'm good at that, and I'm efficient and fast, and I do as much of making sure everything's in order as possible.
The trace remains high right till the end, finishing at nearly 100. Bridget's prospects look good.
Well, you seem very focused, I'm sure you will. You've done really well.
Thanks
so
very
much.
That's great. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
When anybody meets anybody anywhere for the first time, in order to process information, it is absolutely essential to make a judgment about this person. So essentially what people do is make up their mind about a person and what that person's like, generally within the first 15 seconds.
Sometimes you could make your mind up so quickly that I just didn't give them the benefit of any further doubt.
Well, I have to say that strong aftershave and strong perfume, for that matter, are one of my bête noires.
I would be very reluctant to employ a man with fair eyelashes.
I can think of instances where I can't remember anything about what happened or the person. All I can remember is this smell coming towards me and wanting to get away from it badly.
And all I could see through the glass table was that she hadn't shaved her legs, and there were these black hairs sort of just like sprouting through the tights, and I couldn't get beyond that.
Not crazy about Gray's shoes, I'm afraid. I don't quite know why that I feel that way.
I mean, she got legs for weeks.
Lucy, hello, I'm Judy Fisher. Thanks so much for coming along to see me. We're going to just talk a little bit about...
Lucy looks fine, so her trace starts slightly above average, but only just, and it doesn't last.
It was my favourite subject at school. It was
Listen to her voice. It's beginning to expression.
You were there for a couple
She's
of
licking
years.
her lips, signs of tension.
long term, something.
At best, the trace is mediocre. At worst, it drops.
I'm interested in alternative health and nutrition, and one day I'd like to make my career out of that.
In what? Doing what? On what side of it?
Well, possibly working from home and perhaps in a clinic as well as a alternative health therapist and advisor.
Lucy's lifestyle ambitions don't impress. Her trace sinks from +30 to -30 in 20 seconds. But the next candidate's trace will stone.
Now this should be very interesting.
Shopping bags, an obvious mistake. But how quickly and dramatically will they affect her trace?
Valeria, hello, I'm Judy Fisher. Good to meet you. Thanks for coming in.
In 3 seconds, it's plummeted to a feeble -50. Neither Lucy nor Bridget ever sank that low.
I'm just going to talk a little bit about what you've done.
You notice that negative first impression. That's based on what she looked like. She's slightly overweight, carrying shopping bags, low levels of eye contact, and nothing positive has happened yet.
And on the creative side, you're keen cinema and theatre goer?
Yeah, very
go
much
a
so,
lot.
very much.
What was the last thing you saw in the cinema?
I haven't been for ages, actually. What was the last thing I saw?
And what about your sort of attention to detail? You're quite thorough.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you have got 3 spelling mistakes in your CV.
Do I?
Yes.
If you convey a bad first impression, you have to work very, very, very hard indeed. There was a little bit of research that showed that it takes 8 positive pieces of positive information before you can overcome a first